How's it going, everyone? I'm Kylar, and today I'm going to be reviewing Grand Finals from CEO 2019 1v1.
So it counts for the original set,
You can
and
see
if
here
it
we
misses,
have Sandstorm, the
I was
current
really just
rank
trying to buy time for
1
this
PR in the
right here.
world,
So
yeah,
against Wrenched, the
that's what he
current
said.
rank
That's
5 PR.
he's a little
You
bit
can see
slow.
from the
He's
stats
probably
on the
still trying to
screen
work up
that
shit
when
levels
these
and stuff.
guys have versed,
That definitely is
Sandstorm has
one of
won
them.
5
Yeah,
sets,
for sure. So I'm
Wrenched
not
has won
even. Well,
3.
I'm still probably remembering wrong, but like Chanel number 5 still is
So
definitely.
Sandstorm does have the lead, which is to be expected being the best player in the world at the
Is this one
moment.
of the first times we've seen Jake and Finn in the button check? Because we've seen
yeah,
Jake's.
we've definitely seen Jake's in the button check. I don't think I've seen a Jake in a button.
Just
I
let
saw
them
Finn in a button
finish
check.
their
I
Adventure
don't
Time
think
show
Jake
off,
was in
and
the
then they'll
button. I
get
think it was
into game.
Mordex in that button check on that one.
I'm going to try using a pen
I do gotta say
program
though, I'm glad they're
to
not trying to do the wave at each other this time.
try and
Yeah,
help with my
that was
diagrams and
that was very
explaining and all
very
that.
rough.
So hopefully that will go well.
He is that is the wrong
Okay,
name.
so
He should have
here
put
is
most chained.
Sandstorm is
It's
banning.
extra chained. Well, I'm not part of the naming team.
Significantly more chained.
So this
Extra
should be
chained
game
on him.
1.
400% more chained.
Fashionably well chained. Mordex going up against Wrenched on the
Alright, let's
Asuri
test out the
for game one
pen.
of the
Great.
first set of Grand Fives, first set of Grand Finals, potentially the last set of Grand Finals if Wrench can close this
Alright,
one
we're
out.
going to
I'm feeling some
start.
grand vibes right
Pretty
now. I tell you
standard
what, I
start.
think you
Wrench looking
misspoke.
for
You
a
were
hit.
right.
Sandstorm
I
just
got
wants
some
the
grand
I'm
vibes
weapon.
right
grand
now.
vibes right now.
Now Wrench doesn't
Twitch
want to
chat
try
better be
and
going
fight
nuts.
unarmed
Probably say dumb
against
stuff.
Sandstorm's
That's why we love
gauntlets.
Twitch chat. I know they want some Zol out here, but you're not going to get it.
Sandstorm's got
This
some
is
control. He's got beautiful
CEO
spacing with his downlights.
2019 here in sunny
Wrench just a
Brooklyn,
little
Park
slow on his
Milwaukee.
punishes.
You're not bringing out the Zol in singles here.
Is this
Sorry,
going to
Twitch
be
chat.
the one? Is this the
Wrench is using it
tournament
slightly the wrong
Wrench
direction.
wins in
God, I want it
offline?
so bad.
Can he beat Sandstorm here in Daytona?
I want it so bad.
Looks like Sandstorm's just got really good control at the moment. He's really picking the pace of the game.
Well warmed up, and he's got the
Now that was a
stock.
string. That's the first stock gone 40 seconds. That string right there is fast fallable. You can fast fall out of it. So hits a side light here. It doesn't matter that Wrench doesn't have his dodge. You can fast fall out of this. I believe. The last couple times I have checked, you have been able to fast fall out of it. You might not be able to with the chase dodge. I'm not 100% certain on that, but as far as I know, you can fast fall out of this. So it could just be a mix-up where if he jumps or dodges instead of fast falling, then he gets hit by a sig or something else. And Sandstorm back to just spacing with his downlights, because that's really the only spacing tool the gauntlets have. Sidelight isn't very good in neutral, and neutral light is more of a punish tool because of their small range, and sidelight's long startup. Not long startup, but little coverage. And it's got a lot of active frames. Now Wrenched with a beautiful dodge punish. I'll just rewind. Okay, catches his dodge, goes for recovery. Okay, that's good. I think Wrenched might have done that a little slow. No, maybe not. So it looks like you can just dash out of that. I'm not sure if that would have also worked against a dash downlight, or just a regular downsig. I wouldn't have been surprised to see Wrenched just use downsig after the dare. Really good movement and spacing by both of them. Sandstorm calls out Wrench's jump. Now Wrenched is mainly looking to approach with Nair at the moment because he can get the combo into downlight, which will work from most positions. Sandstorm's spacing and positioning is just excellent. I think Wrench just killed himself. No, Sandstorm should have been ready to edgeguard this because you can, as soon as Wrenched, if he tries to go under the stage this way, he's not going to make it back. He can't make it back if he goes outside. So Sandstorm should be covering the wall here. Sandstorm should be covering this wall. because this is too far for Wrench to go with only one jump and a dodge. Sandstorm must have thought that Wrench was already dead, so he just backed up and left it. Wrench gets back. Like Sandstorm could have ground pounded him there as well. He was in position to, but he just didn't. Reset to neutral. He grabs the down sig. Now this was pretty much a read on what Wrench was going to do. He knows that Wrench likes to use chase dodge and vulnerability after hitting an attack like neutral let. Great string. He's trying to mix up the direction with Wrench a lot. Keep it make it harder for Wrench to react to what's going on. We'll just rewind it, take a closer look. He catches the jump with the nair. Wrench does a very poor dodge here. This recovery doesn't catch very much, but the way Wrench reacted to it, it does. It catches. So Sandstorm's recovery will hit this area. So as long as Wrench doesn't dodge into there, he is safe from the recovery. If he fast falls, so if he jumps, dodges in or up and in, then he'll get hit by this. Spot dodge will outlast it, but that depends on how much Sandstorm delays it, if at all. So instead, what Wrench could be doing is not fast falling, but just letting himself fall. And then if Sandstorm goes for the recovery, then Wrench gets his own recovery, because Sandstorm will be here. Wrench will fall to about here, maybe a little lower by the time the recovery finishes, in which case he can recovery and punish Sandstorm here. Because there's a lot of active frames on Scythe recovery, which Wrench can react to. The other thing is, whoops, it's a little too big. The other thing that Wrench could do is if he just regularly falls, by the time he's about here, Sandstorm, if Sandstorm hasn't gone for recovery, Sandstorm will have to choose to back up and look for a better option, or he can go straight for a dare onto Wrenched. And if he goes for the dare onto Wrenched, then Wrench will have had enough time to change what he's doing. So he'll be falling. Sandstorm waits, and he sees that Wrenched is falling. By the time he sees that, Wrenched can decide to instead jump in. He could jump straight up because he's already baited out a dare from Sandstorm, or he can dodge in and then maybe dare or nair. Jumping, I think, would be the best bet here, because it doesn't burn as much as anything else. If he goes for a recovery and he gets caught out, then he's going to die. If he dodges in, and Sandstorm hasn't gone for the dare, then he's likely going to die again. And there's no other attacks that he can really do because Sandstorm is too far away. So if Sandstorm goes for the dare, the Wrench can just float on past and go back to stage, or he can come past and punish Sandstorm. And if Sandstorm doesn't go for the dare and he waits that long, let me change this. If Sandstorm doesn't go for the dare and he just decides to wait to see what Wrench is doing, and he goes for a Sare, or he ends up doing a recovery. If he goes for the recovery here, and Wrench jumps into it, Wrench can still survive. It's not that bad. Then the situation just becomes jumping out of the dare, or because after a Scythe recovery, Sandstorm's likely going to be going for a dare into a Sare, and then Wrench will and then the goal will be for Wrench to be out of resources, so he can't make it back. So if Wrench gets hit by the recovery, he can jump, maybe even jump Nair, punish Sandstorm, get through it. It might actually be better to just jump through, because if he jump Nairs, then Sandstorm will have more time to think of how to respond to what Wrench has done, and then just restart the edge guard. But Wrench can jump through, or he can, since he saved his dodge, he can do a safe dodge away from the dare, but not into something else that's easy to catch. And then make it back to stage, since he should be able to outrun Sandstorm. So hopefully that all makes sense.
Nice reverse snare into the ground.
We'll just talk about this again. So this dare here, Wrenched can, I believe Wrench can jump out of it. Jump, and then he probably can't get a punish in, but that's all right. It'll be better to just come over and survive than it will to try and punish and then die anyway.
Reverse snare into the ground. Brought him back to the wall. Not done with you. Goes for the side.
And then at this point, Wrench has burned too many resources. He lost his recovery in there somewhere.
Like he didn't even die in that situation yet.
He knew he was done for. You saw him just
And without the loud enough game sound, I can't tell exactly when he used his recovery. Ah, he used it there. Never mind. I didn't see that. So Sanders start again. Wrench is looking for this attack. So after the first game, he should know that Sandstorm is going to wait. Sandstorm isn't interested in hitting him. He's looking just to grab the weapon and then go to play neutral and push his advantage with the weapon when Wrench doesn't have it. So what? Sorry, still getting used to this pen thing. So what Wrench can be doing is, instead of, so Wrenched was here, and then he goes for a jump recovery, which gives him a lot of momentum this way. Instead, what he can do is float for just a little bit longer, jump, and then sare, or jump, dare, or you can float this a little bit longer, move slowly this way, sorry, not slowly, slightly this way, and then hit Sandstorm with a recovery. And then it becomes most likely a dodge punish situation, where if Sandstorm dodges, Wrenched can react to it, as long as Sandstorm hasn't dodged completely away. And then when Sandstorm is backing up, Wrench can grab the weapon. So he has this intel from the first game. Now I'll point this out here, since it'll probably be important for the rest of the match. Sandstorm knows that Wrenched likes to back it up completely. So what he's going to do, you can see that he's just going to keep running. He's in range here, but he knows that Wrench is going to keep backing up. So he wants to go the full distance until he's sure that Wrenched is in range. So Wrenched, knowing this, runs the absolute full distance, almost the entirety of the stage. He only had this little bit left. And just to make sure that he doesn't get hit by the downlight, in case Sandstorm does keep running, he jumps where this downlight can't cover. So he gets away from the hit that Sandstorm was looking for, but from this position he can't punish Sandstorm. But it's just important to note that Sandstorm knows and is willing to run the full length of the map to call out Wrenched backing up.
He stole that last one. Wrenched was right, and Wrench was able to just completely get the stock. Starting off with that for a set, that is just huge momentum for Sandstorm.
It was good of Wrench there to dash instead of dodge after the side light. That's got to be a misinput from Wrenched here. So hits the Nair, he looks for another one. Sandstorm catches an absolute max range neutral light. He was ready to catch wrench dodge in over here, but he didn't commit to it because he must have decided in the last split second to, instead of read, wait and react, and it ended up tripping himself up, most likely. So wrench, he gets the jump here. So he's out of range of sidelight. Sandstorm's in active frames or recover time. He's in recover time at this point. This had to have been a misinput from Wrenched. He must have been meaning to dare, because there's no way he could have gone that far enough to get us there and before Sandstorm was out of recover time. Again, I don't think this one was jumpable because he was hit off stage. Sorry, not jumpable, fast fallable.
This is Sandstorm back to domination.
Just complete control over Wrenched.
So you see Sandstorm, like Duke said, he has almost complete control of this game. He's got a massive lead at the moment. Okay, so you can see there that side light into recovery is jumpable. Yeah, that was just greedy from Wrenched, going for this side sig. He must have been expecting Sandstorm to sit on the platform, and then possibly go for a delayed jump, reading Wrenched coming in with a side light or something similar. Wrench goes for a pretty greedy side sig, and then he makes up for it, so that's good. Now I think he should stick with Katars here, play the neutral purely with downlight and Nair. Okay, good. Punish the catch the dodge with the side light. One thing, he also needs to be wary of Sandstorm's weapon tosses, because with all the experience and knowledge we have on Sandstorm, we know that he is very keen on using weapon tosses, especially in this tournament where he has relied on them a little bit. For example, you could see in his match with Boomy, there was points where Sandstorm was just jumping and using weapon throws because he wasn't sure of what else to do. Ooh, that was kind of greedy from Wrenched as well. I would say it was greedy. He must have thought that he had enough time after the Sair to get the recovery. But he should know that Sair has too much recover time and Sandstorm's not going to run over this part. The only other thing I could see it being is him expecting Sandstorm to go for another dash jump over. Or maybe dash off and then dare him. But I think I don't like that he used a recovery regardless. Like if he was expecting one of those things, he could have used a safer option that didn't burn one of his recover tools. Here he just barely missed his Sair. So far Wrenched hasn't been playing bad, he's just made little mistakes that have costed him a lot. You can see they're both just waiting each other out. Just trying to bait each other hard. Beautiful, Sandstorm should be dead here. Nope, Sandstorm, sorry, Wrenched mistimes the ground pound. I'm not sure why Wrenched sidelights and then doesn't combo into dash downlight. Because he's waiting for a dodge, but even when he grabs the dodge, he doesn't have anything to punish with, or he doesn't go for punishes.
From Wrenched this set, as we saw previously, like he's not just throwing out raw D6.
And he's not going to deny the weapon either. Instead, really wants wants to have that Kylar control.
Wrench now in orange. Sandstorm still basically fresh on this stock. Gravity cancel, neutral light. There's the side sig.
This is trouble.
That means Wrench is in kill range.
It's good Wrench mixing up his fall speeds and jump durations
Somehow he
to
finds
get
a way
around
to
and
neutral
through
onto the side
the scythe edge guard.
Wrench hasn't found a hit.
Beautiful spacing.
Weapon toss. Doesn't want it. Wants to go.
And you see Wrench knows by now that Sandstorm, he's not going to commit to every weapon through. Some of them are purely just to get you off him. And it's good that Wrench didn't burn anything in response to it.
He still hasn't fallen prey to any of Sandstorm's signatures yet. On this final stock, there's a strong downlight. Weapon toss going out.
Now Wrench has been punished a lot for missing Sares. And while it is a really good tool, I don't think he should be using it as much as he is in these positions, unless the punish is guaranteed.
Literally stood right next to the weapon. Was like, "Are you gonna come at me? Because if you do, I'm gonna pick up Sig."
Very good control from Wrench.
It completely throws off so many other players. Nair, not a kill option.
I think one more Nair will do it. Strong D-light will definitely do it.
Oh.
Definitely do it.
I think one more Nair will do it. Strong
So he barely outspaced the Sare, got through.
Nair, not a kill option.
He got the dash through, but then he didn't do anything with it.
strong D-light will definitely do it.
Neutral Sig will definitely do it.
Like Wrench definitely could have punished that
I think one more Nair will do it.
that Sare. He definitely could have punished it after he dashed in.
Sandstorm going up 2-0.
He's like, let's.
Now I haven't watched this. I haven't watched these sets yet, but I do know the results.
On-brand mask that's very similar to that, like that has that graphic on it.
All right, we're changing the map to Blackguard.
Sell any masks.
I think this is good for Sandstorm.
There's your avenue into selling
Alright, you're
masks.
right.
I think it might be better for Sandstorm than it is for Wrenched.
Buy them. One is Starlight, one is Sandstorm, and probably a lot of other people. Just saying.
Dear Matt.
Because Sandstorm has the room on the soft platforms to get away from Wrenched downlight resets and catching his landings. Where even if Wrenched goes to the top platform, Sandstorm can still jump near from a mostly safe position.
You've got those very wide kill boxes, and then that left side platform can make it very safe to go to the left side.
Beautiful spacing from Wrenched. Oh, I think he should have jump recovered that.
Sandstorm wrenched with a slight neutralize.
Oh,
Safe
no, not jump recovery. He
neutralize.
downlight, sorry.
Catching Sandstorm wrenched with a
Because with the platform going up, there's no way Sandstorm can jump out of that.
time in this set.
Yeah, if we haven't seen this map so far, we might see more of it if Wrenched is in control, or at least if he's the banning one, he'll leave it on the field, and if he's the choosing one, we might see him choosing this.
Wrench actually missed a combo here. With guitars at this dex, if you hit a recovery at this damage, you can actually combo into GC downlight.
Because he has a big opening here against CSM. Complete 180. Sandstorm was the one who had this type of opening against him.
Very poor dodging from Wrenched.
Games in a row.
Even if it wasn't a side sig, there was a good chance Sandstorm was going to just wait for a dodge, and dodging into Scythe is really bad.
Looking like he was gonna challenge. You saw him jumping towards it.
So what you want, what you want to do against Scythe is make it as difficult as you can for them to get their dodge punishes. If you're getting dodge punished by Scythe, you need to make them work for it, or else the game isn't going to go well for you. You also need to play around Dare, and neutral game is mostly Neutralite. Neutralite and Dare are the main tools. Oh, Sandstorm just fell right into that. Wrench gets the combo, gets the dodge punish, it's nice. He was just a little late on that. And here, I'm not sure why Sandstorm didn't just move slightly to the left. Because even if he doesn't get the punish on Wrenched, he gets back to the wall, and then with Scythe he can get a relatively easy edge guard.
Most of the time have a super one-sided crowd here.
This ground pound would have been good if Wrench spaced it just a little bit better.
Did he actually just do that to him?
Committed to the deepest ground pound, and Sandstorm, like, he didn't even react towards it. He just,
My man, he's going crazy.
Right, going into game 4, we've switched to Great Hall.
Holy cow.
I think
Again,
I think this map is, I think the stage is better for Wrench than Blackguard was,
huge shift in how strong his mental is here at CEO.
because the soft platforms, they can mess with reactions out of guitar neutral light because of their height, and sometimes you can catch someone dashing by accident when they're trying to dodge.
2 in a row. That's going to be tough. We are on Great Hall. Again, another map we haven't seen very much of.
And also, guitar downlights are pretty safe anti-air onto the soft platforms.
trying to get some openers, but he's not getting those follow-ups. You've seen him get like one tap on the Sandstorm. He's going for kind of the safe follow-up of that.
You see, Sandstorm's just trying to. He's playing really cautious.
Seems like Sandstorm.
Oh, that's really unfortunate.
And now it seems like Sandstorm. Man.
He thought he avoided
It was a great reaction, but he just timed it slightly off.
to his death there. That's going to be a nice little lead for Sandstorm.
And now it seems like Sandstorm is kind of going back to the way that he was having to play against Lumi, the way that he was having to play against Wilson as well.
And LDZ.
And LDZ up and towards the end.
Ooh.
Connects and Wrenched.
Catches the dodge with the GC down 6, sorry. Again, he could have gotten a GC downlight off that, and then he would have been able to catch. He's almost guaranteed a nair after that downlight. You see, Sandstorm with the changes to gauntlets, since nair doesn't combo into really anything other than GC unlight. Instead of going for strings, he just looks for dodge punishes out of it. So Wrench needs to be careful with his dodges after getting hit by nair. If he is dodging, he shouldn't be going into Sandstorm.
Sidelight, GC sidelight in one direction or the other, or sidelight recovery, or anything like that. Like we saw a couple.
See, poor dodges have hurt Wrenched a lot in this set.
He doesn't have the traditional.
Okay, good.
He has a very unique gauntlet style.
Really nice spacing from Sandstorm. Wrench just jumps into the ground pound. He was looking for a punish with recovery.
Slight lead over Wrenched.
And still a relatively early stock that Wrench is going to have to equalize again very quickly.
Now Sandstorm's back to having control with the scythe. Oh,
Not quite enough.
Wrench actually goes for a dodge read. That was really nice by Wrenched.
The dodge. There's the flash.
I don't think the dare was very good. I think the dare was really bad, actually. Being against Scythe. Scythe Sair beats it. Sandstorm was just too close here. Scythe Nair beats it. Scythe Recovery can sometimes beat it, usually not. Usually it'll clash or dare will win. But yeah, Sandstorm has 2 safe options to deal with this. So it would have just been Wrench going for something unpredictable. In this case, I don't think it was worth it, since Sandstorm was already burning all his resources to get back to the wall, and Wrench could have just covered the wall instead of going for that.
Are we gonna go to a game 5, or will Sandstorm get the reset? Wrench just playing the weapon control.
And you see, Wrenched is committing to these jumps, chasing Sandstorm, because there's not any weapons, and he has no objective to fight over, so he just wants to keep Sandstorm out. He wants to wall Sandstorm out while grabbing, while controlling the bottom side closer to the stage. See, Sandstorm just trying to play very evasive. Great spacing from Wrenched. And that's what I was talking about here. On this stage, after the Qatar neutralite, you can see that Sandstorm dashes along this soft platform where Wrenched can catch him because it's a dash, which is something to take into consideration. Not something to go for every time, obviously.
He's now gotten about 8 or 9 hits that have been unanswered by Sandstorm. 10.
What? Weapon toss?
Yeah, that was
Unarmed downlight, pick up down air?
nice.
Good punish.
Wrench gave that up too easily.
Good punish.
Now Wrenched, we've seen earlier in the set that Wrench knows the spacing for this SIG. So as soon as the SIG is over, Wrench should be able to punish him here.
Nice.
Okay, he gets the side leg good. I think he could have gotten a down SIG as well.
Nice.
Not as well, sorry. Instead of a side light, I think he could have gotten a down SIG. See, that was beautiful timing and spacing on the side SIG.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure he had enough time for a down SIG. And then he gives up the ledge pretty easily. By going onto the platform here, it kind of limits him because there's a good chance he'll get stuck on the platform and won't actually be able to properly guard edge guard Sandstorm if he comes across. Sandstorm saw this and used this timing to go back onto the stage. A good punish from Wrench, kind of greedy from Sandstorm.
Wrench with the lead.
But that's something that Sandstorm's found a lot of success with. And there, Wrench fast fell out of that one. It's good adaptation. Sandstorm's found a lot of success in not Hail Marys, but raw SIGs or raw risky options that pay off because he's gotten the read on his opponent, or he calls them out and it's successful.
Takes another game. Game 5. Rich is still in orange.
Guitars.
Just gone.
Hit. That's for the down signature. Wrench throws away the guitar.
That was kind of a desperation throw from Wrench there.
Tries to deny, but Wrench picks up the sword.
Not really desperation.
He's currently unarmed. Sandstorm tries to deny,
It's
but Wrench picks up the sword.
It's dangerous.
Recovery.
It's good.
Platform. Wrench takes another
Sandstorm
game.
had burned his options, so he had to fall into the downlight there.
Wrench versus Sandstorm.
His only chance was if Wrench had misspaced it
I think recently
or drifted too far away.
they were asking, what were you doing to prepare for CEO? And he said, I have been basically just working on my mental. That is the biggest thing that I've been trying to focus on, and it's showing. He's been able to stay.
And you can see Wrench tried to run the full length again, but this time Sandstorm caught him with the scythe downlight. Ooh, that's a risky recovery. He just barely didn't get caught here. He could have been 0 to death gimped again. Because if this snare catches him, sorry, this neutralite catches him, then he'll be here. He'll be forced into the dodge punish setup, which Sandstorm is very proficient at. And if he gets taken off stage, if he gets red and he gets taken off stage, then losing his recovery is a very big resource to lose. You could see in the very first game, Wrenched was gimped because he got caught out of his recovery, among other things, but a big part of it was getting caught out of his recovery. So and especially doing that against Scythe, where Scythe has a lot more horizontal range than unarmed recovery. It's very, very, very risky. And it doesn't have good reward either. So you can see the damage when Wrench goes for this. So you can see Sandstorm is not even yellow yet. So if Wrench does hit this recovery, his only proper follow-up is a nair. And if he goes for a nair, I think the dodge window is 4 or 5. And that's a lot of time for someone of Sandstorm's level to dodge out of. And unless Wrenched gets a read with a dare or a GC downlight or something similar to that, or maybe a Say into a chase dodge nair, unless Wrenched gets a big read like that, going for this recovery is not worth the risk of it.
Game 5 here in Grand Finals.
Now the amount of times that
You can see
Wrench has said
Sandstorm
whether
gets
it is
the dodge, catches the dodge read
the
there.
amount of times that
He goes for the chase dodge, but Wrenched is falling. This nair doesn't. This nair is a mix-up between jumping and your opponent jumping or falling.
Wrench just
And see, Wrenched, he fell out of it, but then he was also 2 damaged, so he could
said
jump
on
afterwards,
this land. He said
and
that like
was
this
already out
is
of range.
every land since Austin last year, and he's been so close every single time. I've believed it every
Good dodge
single time.
punish.
I know there are some people out there that definitely don't believe it anymore. They think he's just blowing smoke, but the fact that he's able to come back
Boy who
2
cried wolf.
games in a row here against Sandstorm
That's the
shows
second or third
how much he really
weird side
is
sig
what
from
he is.
Sandstorm this set alone.
Of his mental game beyond the physical portion of the game, I think shows lengths about the type of player that Wrenched is.
He goes for the Say. I don't think you can fast fall out of sidelight Say, but I could be wrong on that.
Everything that Wrench has going for him. He wants this stock. Throws out the side.
That's
Takes it down.
another
Takes
weird
the
side sig
lead.
from
Has
Sandstorm.
the lead. Stick with the
I'm
Katanas.
not sure what he's going for with those.
Do this
Maybe
two
it could
stocks
be an
left
N-Sig that he's looking
before
for.
Wrench can be crowned the victor
And
and
see,
go
again,
home.
this is
Do this
the
two
third
stocks
time.
left.
Wrenched, he can combo into GC downlight here. There's no real reason for him to not combo into it, and instead he's looking for a dodge punish, which he can get anyway if he just does the combo.
Before Wrench can be crowned the victor and go home with that belt.
And that was a very, very committal option he went for there. See, normally he would just go for a downlight. I'm not sure why he went to mix it up this time. I guess he was feeling the reads, and they didn't pay off. But I don't think there's any need to change the standard dodge punish setup that he's got. Like here, that into N-light into N-sig, it catches a lot of options, but it's also avoided by a lot of options. You can jump out of it, you can sometimes dodge through it, you can sometimes dodge away from it. And Sandstorm hasn't. I think Wrench went for it simply, like purely as a mix-up, but Sandstorm, from all the neutral lights Wrench has hit, Sandstorm hasn't been dodging into position to get hit by an N-sig.
His pace is slowing to a crawl. Oh my gosh.
Just speeding
Prince
up.
has him in kill range on his
And Sandstorm's not mixing up his dodges after getting hit by Qatar sidelight.
Soak up like a sponge before being wrung out.
Goes for a gravity cancel sidelight there. Wrench moves through, picks up the sword.
It's good. Yep, just use nair. I don't think he should have done the extra jump, but just looking for a nair is good. It's safe. It's fast. Got a lot of range. Catches out Sandstorm. Now from this, it looks like Wrench should definitely win.
Will he be the bride? He's been the bridesmaid so many times.
So that's where it went wrong. So all Wrench has to do now, he has a very hefty lead. You can see here, he's got 2 stocks to Sandstorm's 1, and Wrenched is only at about 70 or 80 damage at this point. He's not very damaged at all. There's no dangerous unarmed combos. There's no dangerous gauntlet combos or scythe. At this damage, Wrenched is pretty safe from the scythe nair into Sair string. And the only other scythe setups that he has to worry about is stuff that doesn't matter. Stuff that isn't affected by his damage. So all Wrench has to do is control the stage, weapon starve, or will red up. So he has to control stage, without committing to chasing down Sandstorm. He doesn't need to chase him at this point. He can just control stage with downlight and threaten the floating with a jump nair, maybe even 2 jumps. He needs to starve Sandstorm of weapons. Sandstorm does have, or he has very good movement, spacing, timing, all that good stuff, which makes his unarmed not exactly dangerous since wrenched is guitars and sword, but it does make his unarmed a threat. But it's not. Having him unarmed is much better than having Sandstorm on Scythe or Gauntlets. If he's on Scythe or Gauntlets, he has a very good chance of bringing it back, because we've seen throughout this set that Sandstorm with the Scythe has a lot of control over Wrenched. What else Wrenched has to do is he Wrenched doesn't need to commit. So when he catches, if he catches Sandstorm with a guitar downlight or a guitar neutral light or a nair, or even in neutral, Wrench doesn't need to commit to any dodge reads or dodge punishes or risky attacks. He doesn't need to be doing these because he has such a big lead. He has stage control. Sandstorm is unarmed. So all he has to do is not give up stage control, starve Sandstorm by taking the weapons and like threatening Sandstorm when he moves in for a weapon. And Wrench just has to not commit to risky stuff or stuff with a low chance of success that he doesn't need to. So we'll see. He goes for a dash jump recovery here because he's tired of waiting for Sandstorm just jumping around. He wants to get something going, so he goes for a very hard read onto Sandstorm. So he's expecting Sandstorm to be somewhere here. And one, that's a very small area. In comparison to where Sandstorm was and where he can be, that's a very small area. And the other thing is, doing this not only moves Wrenched up here, but it is a lot of time that Sandstorm has to react to what Wrenched has done, and that's a lot of time for him to see that he can just come in, take the weapon, and I don't remember if he's on Gauntlets or Scythe. He, as the best player in the world, I would imagine he would be keeping track of his weapons. If he's got Gauntlets, then it is still not a great matchup, but we've seen that he can control stage with downlight and nair. So he is comfortable on the Gauntlets, or in worst case, he can use it to throw and grab a dodge or something like that. And if he gets Scythe, then he's in a good spot because Wrench is in the air with guitars. Sandstorm has Scythe. He has great control with Scythe. Scythe has a lot of anti-airs, a lot of coverage options. And an important thing to note with Mordex is that Mordex is a comeback character. Mordex is very explosive. And what I mean by this is that Gauntlets and Scythe can very quickly, if not kill you, deal ridiculous amounts of damage very quickly. So with Scythe, we've seen Sandstorm do it for months. We've seen other players do it. With one read off a really safe attack, which like neutral light, side light, even a nair, one read off one of these really safe attacks, really strong attacks, can quickly turn Wrench's massive lead into an even game. Because if Wrenched takes 60, and as I said before, Wrenched, he's not, at this damage, he's a little bit safe from the big, massive strings that Sandstorm can do, but he's not completely safe. There are still things that Sandstorm has access to. So if Wrench takes 50, 60, 70 damage here quickly, then all it takes is one side light read, neutral light read, down light read into a sig or offstage pressure, and then this lead will be completely gone, and the game will be completely even. Especially since Mordex has high movement speed, he's got 7 movement speed. He's very strong in the offstage. He has a lot of maneuverability. It really helps him control the stage when he's running back and forth, throwing out neutral light, nair, Sair, all the stage control stuff. So as soon as Wrenched has committed to this, as soon as he's seen Wrench go for this, he's fast fallen, dash for the weapon, grab the weapon. He knows it's Scythe, so he goes immediately for the nair, and he doesn't bother looking for a string because he knows Wrenched is fairly safe from this stuff, and he immediately takes Wrenched off stage and looks for a punish. The one he went for is very committal. I'm kind of surprised he went for this, because he should know that Wrench can jump out of it. There is nothing guaranteed from a reverse Scythe there, but Sandstorm does have the reactions and reading capability to catch something like that. But even though he didn't actually get anything in their game off of this, Sandstorm has put mental strain onto Wrenched. Because as soon as Wrench got caught by that nair and taken off stage, he would have thought, oh, I can lose the game here. I have such a massive lead. I'm about to win the mid-seasonal championship, but I can still lose if I get caught in that again. And even if he knows what to do and how to respond to certain things, it will still be coming up in the back of his head, distracting him and influencing his decisions, which can potentially make him play slightly worse or play into Sandstorm's favor. You see, this is exactly what I was talking about. Sandstorm has regained control. Even though he hasn't gotten big strings, he's still been able to rack up steady damage. And at this point, if he gets one read, Wrench will die. The game will be completely even. Beautiful from Wrench. Oh no, this should have been a neutral light. You can always jump out of sword sidelight into downlight. At every single position you can jump out of it. So when he catches Sandstorm with this, he should be neutral lighting. And then if he wants to commit to something else, he can do that. Like neutral light into a dash downlight or dash jump Sair, something like that. But it also would be good for him to, after the neutral light, just cover the wall, because Sandstorm he'll have 1 or 2 jumps, his recovery, his dodge, and even if Wrench can't smack him out, he at least regains stage control. Instead, he goes for the downlight, goes for the greedy option. And now he's dead. He's died off stage. The game is almost completely even, because Wrenched is committing to stuff that he hasn't needed to commit to, and he's given up the control, the huge control that he had. Now you can see Sandstorm is already in the lead. And while it wasn't just one decision that brought Sandstorm back into this, committing to things and giving up stage control, giving Sandstorm a weapon with that dash and recovery, has
Sidelights there.
led to all this. It wasn't the one decision that made this happen, but it all stemmed from that one mistake. And this is the kind of stuff that Sandstorm will punish you for.
Sidelight. No ground pounds. Wrench fakes it.
He's staying low, so hopefully that would give him enough time to react.
You see Wrench is playing very safe. Sandstorm catches. As I said earlier, Sandstorm's very good at reading his opponent in kill ranges. And even though they're risky, more often than not they work, and it pays off very much.
All you're doing is going.
We'll just point out how Sandstorm got this to work as well. So he faked going this way. He faked going this way, thinking making Wrench think he would need to move forward and catch up. And then he immediately chucks out the side sig this way. And Wrench ends up dashing into it.
You go a little bit. Oh,
Watched his set against Will. I don't think he had.
Where'd Sandstorm go?
They were long individual games. Sandstorm's play.
Alright, we're gonna go back into it.
as well. We're kicking it off. Game 1, second best of 5 after the reset.
Alright, set 2. At this point, Wrench will have taken a very heavy mental hit. So, unless he's controlled his mental, there's a good chance he'll play worse than before. But he's had very good movement so far. Again, he's getting punished for his bad dodges against Sandstorm. That was 3 or 4 very bad dodges in a row, and Sandstorm capitalized on every single one.
Nails in the coffin. Game 1, stock 1 going the way of Sandstorm. Game 1 not his way yet.
And you'll see from Sandstorm and Boomy, really bad dodges like that you won't see very often. Because even if they're not dodging for a specific purpose, they're dodging straight away from where a hitbox is going to be. Okay, great Sare.
Punishes the ground pound. It's been a little while since we've seen a true wrenched punish on a ground pound attempt from an opponent.
Wrench caught out in the edge guard again. He barely gets the recovery this time. It was a very greedy recovery again, I think. Or if not greedy, very, very risky. And with a low chance of success. He gets caught by the ground pound. He rushes straight back to the stage. This is a mix-up that Sandstorm wasn't expecting. Sandstorm would have expected Wrench to take a little bit longer, so he would have been able to set up to get a dare or another ground pound. And Wrench, since he rushed back to the stage, he must have been doing this to catch out Sandstorm, not suspecting it. So in a way, you could say the recovery was all right, but I don't like using recovery over the edge like this ever, unless it's something like a bow recovery or a hammer recovery, or really any recovery in which you, at the end of it, you land on the stage. In this case, Wrench didn't. He finished his recover time just above the stage when he was still in the air. Good. I'm not sure if that was slow or if you could just fast forward it. There you go. See, I like that Wrench went for a down sig that time. Okay, in this case, I'm not sure if he could have gotten a dash down light. Normally, if you push someone off the stage with side light, then a dash down light won't actually hit. Since Sandstorm didn't start falling off until like the end of it, it might have worked. I'm not sure, but I like that Wrench went for a mix-up with it. You see, from Sandstorm's face, he was likely expecting something else. Again, Wrench committed really hard to that recovery. He got one of them working earlier, which is great, but he's committed to them way too hard a couple times now.
Anytime Sandstorm is at a full stock lead on Wrenched, it's gone Sandstorm's way.
Sandstorm very rarely throws a lead this big.
And now, from this position, this is what Sandstorm won from last game. But it's a lot easier to win from this position with Scythe than it is to with Mordex than it is to with Asuri. Because Scythe is much more controlled than Katars. Gauntlets are much more explosive than both sword and Katars.
Oh my gosh.
And Mordex has excellent SIGs for comebacks.
Not a bad spot.
Good neutral from Wrench.
But Wrench is bringing it back. He's not at too big of a deficit now.
Sandstorm is able to swoop into the sky, grab those gauntlets out of thin air.
That recovery wasn't too bad because there was no way Sandstorm was going to punish him for it. See, Sandstorm knows very well how fast his character moves, how much he needs to move. He's really good at controlling his momentum and knowing when to jump, when to pull back, when to change direction, all this stuff.
Hasn't been holding it.
It's good, he went for a mix-up that time, it's good.
Wrench is playing high on that wall. Wrench still in orange, Sandstorm in yellow, close to
There's a very, very committal option there.
Remember, Wrench started this stock
And that's not the first time that Sandstorm's fast fallen after a Katar downlight. So that's something Wrench needs to pay attention to.
nice. He waited out the spot dodge.
See, Wrench after silent he keeps waiting.
There's the punish.
He keeps waiting to get a downlight, like for a dodge read, and then after the downlight he gets a dare or a recovery, but I mean he's better at Katars than I am, but I don't think going for a dodge punish with the downlight would be as good as dodge punishing after the downlight. Like looking for a dodge punish after the downlight. We're gonna stick it up on Mammoth. Wrenched won pretty convincingly on Blackguard and Great Hall. I should look at the stages actually. I can't see it because of the replay. So I would imagine Wrench is keeping Blackguard, Great Hall, and Mammoth open, and Sandstorm doesn't want to play on the other stages.
He's been nipping at the heels of Sandstorm. He's been just right on the tail of him, trying to get here.
Yeah, that was alright. I think he should have, instead of a Sair, I think a recovery would have been better, and then he could have looked for a falling Nair, or if he sees Sandstorm jump, he can jump Nair. And then that's another 17 damage that he gets in.
One of the things that was standing in the way was his mental, and we've already seen like huge mental strides.
It's good.
That's a month ago. Imagine fixing your mental game in a month.
That ain't easy.
Like your mental game is the harder thing to fix.
It is one of the hardest things to just straight up train, practice, and work on.
Very greedy from Wrenched again. Gets the dares, nice. Catches the dodge with his Sair. This is nice. But going for this side sig is just really greedy. With Gauntlets, Sandstorm has no reason to try and recover high or rush onto the stage, because he has so much freedom down on the wall here. So this might be the mental damage that Wrench taken from the set, because he just threw away his CEO win, and then now he's down a game in the reset. So you can see Wrenched he's really scared of Sandstorm here. He's playing very safe even when Sandstorm's unarmed, which is a really bad sign. Because it's good to not just rush in, but Wrenched is overspacing way too hard. He has so much room that he has to work with, and he's just not using it anymore. And he keeps going for really risky low, high risk, sometimes high reward, but low risk. Sorry, high risk, low chance of success. Now he's just throwing out his options. Yeah, it's really not looking good for Wrenched.
Oh, caught him jumping. He waited for that one. You saw him just standing there, waiting for
Okay, that one was better. That wasn't just a Hail Mary. That was just a slight misspacing or mistiming. He's just slightly too slow. See, he got the dodge, and then he just slightly misspaced it. Although I would have expected him to just do a nair, since he's not committing. No, he is committing after his recovery. Sorry, at this damage, but not in. I don't think it's in a good way. So I would have liked it if he just did a nair instead of a recovery. Oh, you see, Wrench is making little mistakes like these, and it's costing him so much. That's the second time this set. Second or third time. Like his neutral is still fairly solid. He's got what? What is this dare? What is this weapon? What is that? BMG, please. Like, I don't care much about how dumb Scythe is in other areas, but just look at those hitboxes. That was really nice from Wrench. Pressured Sandstorm into going high. Sandstorm was already going high, but then Wrench pressured him to keep going high. And then he got the hard punish. And it was really good of Wrench to recover and not Nair there, because Nair wouldn't have killed. And Wrench, he realized that he had the opportunity to recovery. Ooh. Wrench dashing in after the sidelight again. See, he's kind of running into things. See how this starts. Okay, it starts this time. Since Sandstorm's up 2 games and he just forced a reset. He's pushing really far forward with the. He pushed really far forward with the opening, going straight for this dash, and then he waited till he got to center stage and then recovered. So he would finish the recovery on Wrench's side of the stage, and then Wrench is just waiting on the ground instead of going for aerial starts like he was before. See, just looking at the starts there, you can take a bit of their mental.
Again, one bad dodge against Sandstorm, and he just gets so many hits. Side air. Sandstorm with a massive lead over Wrenched. Sandstorm putting more nails in Wrenched.
Yeah, this set's pretty over. Wrench really needs.
Ooh, he dodged through that ground pound.
Even if he doesn't, he might not feel. He might not feel like it's big, like it's a big mental game that he's losing, but it definitely is at least subconsciously affecting him. Because he's making more mistakes before, he's repeating the same mistakes that he's done throughout the entire set, and his spacing is a little bit off. You see, Wrench is committing super hard to stuff that isn't that great. So Wrench might be able to keep the games close or bring them back a little bit, but at this point, seeing this, you wouldn't expect Wrench to win. You see Sandstorm's really feeling himself, and Wrenched he's going down with the mental. See, even right there, yeah, Wrench has given up.
Sandstorm is the CEO champion.
At that point, I don't think he could have made it back, but
Is still
you could definitely see that
the big goal.
it wasn't great there mentally. So we'll just try and give a quick little recap of it. So first 2 games, Sandstorm won. Sandstorm, we'll just write Sand. No, we won't. We'll write Sandstorm. So when he won, he had very good control, stage control, zone control. Usually, most of the time, it was off-stage control as well. He had very explosive. He was very explosive a lot of the time, where he would catch a dodge, and then he would get a ridiculous amount of damage or kills or edge guards off it, which is the standard for Sandstorm. It's what you expect from him after seeing him do it so often. He was very, very patient or cautious. You could see against Boomy as well. A lot of the time, Sandstorm didn't want to commit to anything. He didn't want to commit. He was just going for a lot of floating, a lot of dodging away, staying. And instead of going for like pixel perfect spacing, he would space a little bit further than you would normally see him. He had strong offstage. Go back. Let's try offstage. So he had offstage presence. He called out and caught wrenched a lot with ground pounds, with dares, with nairs into edge guards, all that sort of stuff. So that's typically what we saw from Sandstorm. I'll say fundamentals as well. We'll just write fundament. Timing, spacing, character control, all of this stuff Sandstorm is excellent at. He has immaculate timing, immaculate spacing, really good awareness. Awareness is very, very important. And then with the with the wrenched, good old wrenchy. He had strong neutral. There were a couple parts where I'm not sure if it was a misinput or if he just didn't have the right read on the momentum or Sandstorm's direction or whatever it was. But Wrench did have good neutral. He caught some good dodge punishes. It wasn't as explosive as Sandstorm, but it was there. He was missing. He was late on a lot of his punishes. And this might look bad, putting flaws or mistakes in Wrench thing, but I don't think I put any in Sandstorms. That's not exactly how it is. Sandstorm, like I said, he was very, very safe, very cautious because he was losing. He was losing. He would lose control. He would lose neutral. He would start being very cautious, very unsure of what he was doing until he felt comfortable. But he didn't miss many punishes. He didn't overly commit to things. That's something that really hurt Wrench's set. Over committing or commitment. So stuff like a lot of dash jump recoveries, jump recoveries, guitar says, sword sigs, misplaced sword says. They're all very commit all very committal from Wrenched. Um, when it wasn't his place to commit to things. Because Wrenched he definitely could have won this tournament in that first set in that last game, but he chucked it away because he got overeager. He would have been tired of waiting, and he would have been hungry. So very very hungry for the win, and essentially he threw it away by by all the little mistakes that he made. But when saying something like that, like this, Wrench threw it away, but it was very important that Sandstorm was able to capitalize. He was able to recognize what happened. He was able to capitalize on it, regain control, force Wrench back into what he wanted to do. He brought back his pressure, and in the second set, Sandstorm was much more confident. You could tell that he was really feeling himself. He was landing a lot more edge guards. Um, he was landing a lot more edge guards. He was getting a lot of whatever. We'll just leave the A out. He was getting a lot of dodge punishes. Um, yeah. So Wrench, he was good. He was good. Jump and fall. He mixes up his jump and falling timings very well. He applied pressure, which was good, and he had good control until he threw it away. He had good control. You could see a lot in the games. Um, Wrenched, even if he wasn't in the lead, he had control of the stage, he had control of the zones, and Sandstorm was running away, um, avoiding Wrenched, and not wanting to commit to stuff because he knew he wasn't in a good position. So a lot of this came down to the mental, both conscious and subconscious. Mental and overcommitment was really Wrench's downfall. But regardless, it was a good set. It wasn't a wash. No one got stomped, and it wasn't a really disappointing ending. It was a really good set to end the weekend after a really good run. So yeah, so that's my summary of what happened, what went on throughout the set. This has been my review on the CEO 2019 Grand Finals between Wrenched and Sandstorm. If you have enjoyed watching, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know what you thought. Maybe you disagree, maybe you agree, maybe you saw something that I didn't. And if you did like it, please feel free to share it with other people. Help me get noticed. It would be very helpful, very much appreciated. And just check out my other socials. My Twitter, I post on there very often. I retweet a lot of things. I share my thoughts a lot. My Twitch, I'm starting to stream more regularly. Twitch.tv/KylarAlice, Twitter.com/KylarAlice. And I have a Discord which will be linked. All of these will be linked in the description. So if you've enjoyed this, thank you for watching. I hope I've given some insight into what goes through my mind when watching this and what I believe would be going through their minds, so you can piece together a bit more about how you want to approach the game, how you think other people should approach the game, and what you can be doing better or worse. Anyway, this has been Kylar Alice. I'll see you later. Thank you.